Hi everybody, welcome once again to Root Access. Ryan Ritchie, Jamie DeGrazio, former Mac genius, Ryan Ritchie, former business consultant. Why am I here?
Former Mac specialist.
I put the special in Mac specialist, absolutely. So, new announcements recently from Apple. We've got the 4th gen iPod Nanos, available in 40,000 different colors. We'll get to that. And we've got the iPhone software, the Genius feature in iTunes 8. Where do you want to jump in?
Well, I guess we could touch on the Nanos right off the bat. I mean, I guess the news leaked out a week ahead of time. This is what they're going to look like. They were going to do away with the iPod, the Nano Fatty, and then go back to, I guess, the original design. They look kind of like the Zunes.
Thin as in. They look a little like the Zunes.
Steve likes things thin. And, you know, now there's an assortment of colors. I guess the one good thing is now you don't have to, like, upgrade to a certain gigabyte to get the color.
The color tax is gone.
Yeah, so you can get 8 or 16, you know, across the board. I mean, I still think at this point the Nano is too expensive. I just feel like if I was making a decision, I would have almost not upped the gigabyte and just new design, but cut the price.
Maybe get rid of the shuffle.
Yeah, I mean, why not just keep the 4 and 8 gig, but make the price 100 and 150? I don't know. To me, spending $200 just for a music player these days, it just seems a little steep.
And we'll get to features and what might be in the future for the iPod in a bit. One thing we wanted to tell you about, you know, obviously both having worked in Apple retail, behind the scenes, all of these colors will cause chaos.
They're a nightmare. Yeah, they're a complete nightmare for both like the Geniuses, for service issues, and also just for keeping things in stock, keeping customers happy. I mean, you know what it's like when people would come in looking for, they want a 4 gig in pink.
Right. Whatever color they're looking for. Maybe you have it in an 8 gig or 6 gig at that time with the Mini, but they don't want it. So can I get the green 4, and then he can bring it in and exchange it for the other color? It gets very complicated. And then when you come in for the replacement, Apple's policy, long-standing policy, is that you get like for like. So if you have a silver 8, you're going to get a silver 8. But they might not have a silver the day you come back.
Because then the service side, you have to stock multiple versions, multiple, you know, an assortment of, you know, you had to have more than one 4 pink and more than one 4 blue, and then you had to have the 16 version, and it would just become a nightmare because customers would say, well, I don't want to wait for the replacement. Can't I just have a different color? Can I pay more for the different size? I'll pay more for the 8 gig.
Do an upgrade.
Can't do that. So yeah, it's a nightmare.
And engraving, well, it's still a little tricky, but you can now do that.
At least you can get it swathed without the engraving,
Excellent. Other things to consider here in the older Apple stores especially, you know, the business at the stores has increased vastly, the amount of sales, but not necessarily behind the scenes the amount of space to store all this stuff. So when you're talking about storing, well, how many of one particular repair part for an iPod would you estimate they would need to have?
Well, what they would start to do is the iPods, the older iPods, they started stocking less and less of them, obviously. So, you know, like when I was there, the 3rd gen iPods, we would maybe have 1 instead of like 4 or 5, because those now are out of warranty. You might have a 1 for a battery replacement. That's another thing. You had to have SKUs, not just for like service replacements, but also for battery replacements. So, I mean, right before I left, we had iPods everywhere. I mean, they were just stacked upon each other.
And now there's 18 different models between these 9 colors and 2 different sizes. And those will have to be there for a while. I mean, for the next few years.
I mean, if you think about it, the people who had bought AppleCare on the original Nano, they're probably just going out of warranty now, the black and white Nano. So they have to stock those still. They have to stock all the colors. They have to stock the Fatty.
What a lovely name, the Fatty.
So it's
you didn't like the Fatty, did you? How did you feel about the form? Kind of grew on me.
Well, I never really picked up one until recently, and I think for using it as using it at the gym or running with it, I think it's probably the best you're going to get. It almost seems like maybe they should do away with the shuffle, maybe bring that back as just like the smallest iPod Nano they make.
The 4 gig, or rather the 4th gen iPod Nano, to me, seems awkward to hold it to watch video, to hold it sideways. It seems way too long.
Yeah, I still don't think the Nanos are built for video.
And one thing that gets me from the Apple, we used to call it the FU department at Apple, so they trot out these exciting new headphones that have the volume switch and everything, and they're the best, well, second best headphones they've ever done because they got those in-ear ones to sell too. But rather than have that be the new iPod headphone, that's $29, they still give you the old generic headphones.
Yeah.
So, oh, you Apple, we're so old. We even remember the days when you got an AC adapter and a FireWire cable with your.
Well, now none of the FireWire accessories work with the new Nano.
Ones?
Everything has to be charged via USB. So all your chargers, your car connection kits, those things might not work now. So
interesting. Okay, we're going to have more about the new product announcements from Apple coming up in the next segment of Root Access.